In the world of supply chain management, time is often described as a competitive weapon. But look, to actually wield it effectively, you really need to know exactly which clock you're looking at. So here's the hook for you today. In far too many organizations, managers treat cycle time and lead time as if they mean the exact same thing. And let me tell you, treating these two metrics interchangeably is a massive trap. It leads directly to broken customer promises, incredibly misleading data, and ultimately a whole lot of wasted money. It's this central paradox that frustrates operations professionals every single day. They ask, if our machines are running faster, why are our customers waiting longer? Well, this happens when we confuse the stopwatch view of our internal factory operations with the calendar view of our customer. And when we mix up these two perspectives, we end up masking massive amounts of operational waste.
Now, before we unpack this paradox and show you exactly how to fix it, please subscribe to the channel now to ensure you are not missing on our new knowledge content on supply chain and operations. We've got a lot of great structured videos coming your way.
All right, so here is our roadmap for the video today. First, we'll look at the stopwatch, which is cycle time. Second, the calendar, or lead time. Third, the heartbeat, which is talk time. Fourth, we'll do a side-by-side comparison. And finally, we'll break down the actual cost of this confusion.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The stopwatch, cycle time.
Think of cycle time as the internal reality of your factory. It's defined strictly as the measured duration required to complete one unit of work, start to finish, once the actual process begins. Notice that absolutely crucial phrase there. Once the actual process begins. This metric is all about physical execution. It ties directly to your equipment performance and tells you what your line is truly capable of doing right now under current conditions. It's not what is planned on a spreadsheet. It's what is actually real on the floor.
So let's look at the formula. It's your total production time divided by your total units produced. To visualize this, just imagine a barista pulling an espresso shot in a super busy coffee shop. The cycle time is only the exact amount of time their hands are actively grinding the beans and making that coffee. In a factory setting, if a machining cell works a 400-minute shift and finishes 100 parts, well, your cycle time is 4 minutes per unit. This specific metric is usually the domain of your production engineers who are using it to measure how efficiently those machines are running.
Moving on to Section 2, the calendar, lead time.
Now we are shifting our perspective completely away from the factory floor and looking at how the customer measures time. Lead time is the total latency between the initiation and completion of a process. It captures the entire journey. We're talking from the second the customer hits submit on an order, all the way until the product is physically sitting at their receiving dock. This zooms way, way out from just that single manufacturing step.
The formula here is super simple. It's the delivery timestamp minus the order timestamp. Going back to our coffee shop analogy for a second, lead time includes the customer standing in a long line, placing their order, processing their payment, and then waiting at the counter to finally receive the drink. It's the whole shebang. In a factory, you might literally have a 30-day lead time, even if the actual cycle time to build the product only takes 2 days. And that's because lead time includes all those order entry queues, scheduling delays, material holds, and shipping transit.
Now, what's really interesting about this next concept is how it connects the two. Section 3, the heartbeat, takt time.
Takt time is the benchmark pace your production must hit to exactly match customer demand without overproducing. Derived from the German word for rhythm, it is fundamentally different from cycle time. Takt time isn't about how fast you can produce, it's about how fast you should produce to stay in perfect sync with the market. It's the heartbeat of your operations.
You calculate takt time by dividing your available production time by your customer demand. In our cafe example, if a new customer is walking through the door every 2 minutes, well, that's the takt time the barista absolutely must hit to prevent a massive backlog. In the factory, if you have 480 available minutes and customer demand for 240 units, your takt time is 1 unit every 2 minutes. But here is the massive warning. If your internal cycle time is slower than this takt time heartbeat, your customer lead time will inevitably grow because queues and backlogs are actively building up on your floor.
Let's pull this all together. Section 4, the side-by-side comparison.
So let's contrast them directly. Cycle time is our internal factory stopwatch. It focuses heavily on value-added work, the actual physical transformation of the product. Conversely, lead time is the external customer calendar. While it does include the cycle time, it also encompasses a massive amount of non-value-added time, basically waste. We're talking about things like waiting around for materials, sitting in an inspection queue, or just resting on a shipping dock.
And this brilliantly illustrates who actually owns what. Because these metrics measure different things, they're owned by different teams. Cycle time is owned by engineers who are managing that line-level pacing. Lead time is owned by operations and logistics leaders whose job is overall customer delivery. And takt time? That's managed by continuous improvement leads for planning and line balancing. Operations and logistics leaders absolutely must look at lead time, because if they only focus on the engineer's cycle time, they are missing the entire customer experience.
Which brings us to our final point. Section 5. The cost of confusion.
The reality of a typical lead time composition is honestly pretty shocking. In many supply chains, 80 to 90% of lead time is purely non-value-added waste. That means orders sitting in a queue, waiting for a truck, or going through administrative post-processing. Only 10 to 20% is the actual value-added production, or your cycle time. Think about that for a second. Up to 90% of your customer's wait time has absolutely nothing to do with how fast your machines are running.
So, the crucial point is this. Treating these metrics as the same thing leads to terrible capacity decisions. Plant managers will often invest millions of dollars in expensive automation just to shave a few seconds off their cycle time. But improving a machine's speed by 10% has literally zero impact on a 30-day customer wait if the real bottleneck is sitting in order entry processing or shipping delays. You're spending serious money optimizing the completely wrong part of the chain.
Another massive cost here is misleading KPI reporting, which creates this sort of phantom performance. Imagine a plant reporting incredibly fast cycle times and a highly efficient factory floor, yet the company is completely failing its on-time delivery metrics to the customer. Why does that happen? Because their lead time calculations totally ignore the 5 to 10 days their product loses while just sitting around and warehousing and freight. The internal stopwatch looked great, but the customer's calendar was an absolute disaster.
Time is truly a competitive weapon, but only if you are measuring the right kind of time. So, I want to leave you with a question to reflect on as we wrap up this video. Does your team cleanly differentiate between these two metrics? Drop a comment below and let us know if your focus is currently stuck on the stopwatch or if you're actually looking at the calendar. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.